Hi, I'm Mike Jones, and this is the Healing Hut.
I wanna cozy up with you, fire golden and Joni's blue. I wanna float away with you, river running to somewhere new with you.
Hi, welcome back to the Healing Hut. Thanks for joining me. On this episode, I had a very ambitious plan of finish my old door that I put up last time, starting to work on my new doors, which are two French doors side by side that fill these spaces here. And then also my glulam beam, which holds up the balcony. I don't like the look. I want to cover that up. And then windows, and I want to get all that done in this episode, but I don't think it's going to happen. I have already spent most of a week working on one of the 4 doors that go to my French doors outside. So there's 8 surfaces, 4 on the outside, 4 on the inside, 2 sets of French doors. 2 of those surfaces had white paint on them. So I thought it would not be a big deal, but I've spent 4 days trying to get white paint off of one of those surfaces, and I am now done. But anyway, I won't get as much done as I'd hoped. Also, my health has set me back a little bit, trying to make things simple. I've been on steroids, dexamethasone, for 5 years as part of my chemotherapy program for my cancer. And recently, some study has shown it not to be that beneficial after all. So I made a plan of trying to get off of it. So I got off of the steroids about 4 weeks ago. And that has also reduced my energy level quite a bit. Already my energy level is low, but once I got off steroids, I found that reduced it. If I can get 2 good hours a day, maybe 2.5, that's a good thing. Well, my door is not stripping very easily. The chemical strip I tried by itself, then I tried under plastic, and that didn't really work. It takes off the outer layer, but not the primer. The heat gun works a little better, but it's very hard to do. So I'm still experimenting with ways to try to get this finish off. Somebody out there probably knows a better idea than what I know. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit where I'm at. This is Friday. This whole week I have spent on this one door that was painted white. Everything I tried to use to get the paint off didn't work. I tried several different paint strippers that did not work. I had to scrape and scrape. I used sanders. I used all kinds of wire brushes. And even now, it's got a little spots of white paint that need to be removed here and there. I brought it into the house because I'm going to put finish on it here, and I don't want to end up like I did with my beam, that it turns white due to the weather being colder outside. So I'm going to take a break now. I've got one more white door to take the paint off of, but I'm really sick and tired of stripping paint, and I'm going to move on to some other things. I'm going to take you up to the cottage to show you what else I have planned this week. So I'm up at the cottage now. It's a windy day, but the snow is gone and it makes better working conditions. I've been digging through my lumber now that the snow and ice is gone, looking for timbers I can use. I want to show you some things I have. Up here is the railings that's going to go to the loft. I'm going to clean those up. They came off someone's deck because they moved on to glass railings. So that's I've used a tremendous amount of used things for this cottage, keeping the price way down from what it would cost since I built it. Now this is interesting here. These are wooden gutters that came off a 100-plus-year-old barn. They're made out of cedar. I checked them from end to end. There's no rot on them after 100 years. And from what I've read, these cedar gutters do hold up very well. So I'm going to paint them probably. I'm not sure what color. I'm going to wed them with copper downspouts. and I think it's going to look really nice. And then here's some 120-year-old fir beams, old growth fir thing I'm using a lot in the cottage. Got that from someone's tearing down the barn. I'm going to show you what treasure I found today. Was I went to the mainland, and I have 3 windows for the cottage. It should be about $500 each because they're wooden windows, but I found these windows. You can see they're inside a wooden suitcase or case because they were displays at Lowe's and they've been discontinued. They don't carry these Milgard wooden windows anymore. These were high-end, over 500 bucks. So I got those pennies on the dollar, and they're the exact size I need for 2 of my windows. So I've showed you my rocks before, but now with the snow gone, you can see much better. My sandstone will do a lot of the cladding. And then up here, I have a bunch of rocks I've collected off the beaches and in rivers. It goes on and on. So I'm going to have plenty of stone. Here's this quartzite I don't really care for. It doesn't give the right look. I might use it in places, but it doesn't give the right look for the cottage. And here's some more rocks I got. The rocks continue on up through the grass, so I got plenty. So today, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do today. Maybe it's Friday. Now, Monday of this week was shot because I spent the day in the hospital. My immune system had collapsed once again. It happens ever so often because my chemo, and I do have cancer of the immune system. I'm sort of like the bubble boy without the luxury of a bubble. So it took 5 hours of infusions of IVIG to try to boost that so I don't get too sick. You know, you probably saw previous videos where I was coughing and coughing. I had bronchitis for 7 weeks and it almost turned into pneumonia. Anyway, so here's the thing I mentioned before. There's a big glulam beam required by engineering to hold the loft up. I don't like the way it looks. My wife said it looked fine, but I don't like the way it looks. And I was trying to figure out what to do, and I've decided I've got one of these 120-year-old Douglas fir, been cut by a big giant circular saw at a sawmill back in around 1900. It's going to go over this. It's going to require this one plus another one that's 4 inches wide. And I'm putting, I don't know if I can turn this over. This is about 120 pounds. I can't do it with one hand without disaster. Anyway, I've drilled holes in it for plugs, so that will look nice. And it's going to go up over this glulam beam. So today my job is, I'll probably put this on time lapse. If you can see, there's a little bit of a lip where the loft floor hangs over. Well, you can't have that. I'm going to cut that off today to make it easier to put this other board over that. So that's my job today. And then I'm going to work on this beam. I would put finish on it now, but it was wet. It'd been outside. I got to let it dry out really well. And I'll put tung oil, probably Danish oil, it's called, on it. And I think get the right look. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I may go ahead and publish this video before I get much more done. And I wish I had much to show for. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. I have to be patient. My doors, they've come out really well. I showed last time. It's going to require a little bit of work getting them tight. I got locks on them now. Locks on them, top and bottom. They work great. Except if you look close, it's not real airtight. And I'm working on making it better. Here's a wide gap here. And I got plenty of things to use that. Around my beams here, there's a lot of work to do with foam and caulking, but I don't want to do that until it's dry. I got to pull the tar paper out from underneath those beams. I wish I'd done that before I put them up, but I forgot. So I got to pull that tar paper out. I want the flashings to go around that corner and then do that. So I'm really happy how that's turned out. Hi, the last thing I'm going to be doing in this episode is getting up my beam to cover up that glulam beam. I mentioned I have an old 100-year-old fir. It's not really a beam, it's more of a board to cover that up. And my wife helped me yesterday to get it up onto the loft. You can't see it, but sitting at the top. So what I'm going to be doing on Timelapse is I got to build a wooden frame to catch that board. Excuse me. So when I push it off the loft, if I'm not careful, it's going to fall to the ground, or it's going to pull me off with it because it's 120 pounds. So I'm going to rig up a system to catch it and then screw it into place. And then I have another 3-inch section that will go above that. So anyway, and then we'll see how it looks. But I'm going to be putting you on time lapse. Hello there. I think I've about finished up this episode. I've got enough done. I'm going to show you how my beam came out. I really like it. Looks much better than that glulam beam. Don't ask me why my pegs didn't line up. I think the secondary beam above, I must have switched it around one end to the other. That makes them not line up. If that bugs me too much, I can take it apart. Had a heck of a time getting those plugs made. I don't know if it showed up on my time lapse, but my dowel bar was getting so short I couldn't hold it under the saw. Anyway, the other thing I have that I got done was I took my windows out of their case. It's getting ready to rain out here. My goats are, they don't like it when it rains, but they're out in a little bit of fresh air before the rainstorm hits. So I got my windows out of the case they were in. One disappointing thing was we thought they had a flange that was folded down around it, but it doesn't. Windows usually come with a flange. Also, the wooden window is without a screen. So I saved $200 each on the windows by getting these display ones, but it's going to be a little bit challenging to get those watertight. I'm going to have to work harder now that it doesn't have such a flange around the edge. Well, folks, thanks for coming this time. And next time I'll probably be putting windows in. This next week I'll be working on doors more, getting ready for my son to put those in. And who knows? Oh yeah, the railings to the balcony. That goes on next. Now I got this new board up there, but yeah, I like the look of that board a lot. A lot better than that glulam beam. All right, you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks for coming.
I wanna cozy